Well, the government has now rejected all of the Climate Change Commission's recommendations to strengthen New Zealand's emissions targets. The move comes despite the Commission warning the effects of climate change are hitting New Zealand sooner and more severely than expected. The government says it remains committed to the Paris Climate Accord, but critics say it's now merely paying lip service. Adam Hollingworth reports.
The Climate Change Commission asked the government to strengthen emissions targets. The government said no, it had already weakened methane targets and changed the 2050 carbon net zero target to a net negative target. Which raises the question, does the government even want the Commission?
Absolutely. They provide an independent process of an independent advice. We appointed Dame Patsy Reddy, who's doing an excellent job in terms of leadership of that organisation, and we value that independent advice.
Then you can choose to ignore that advice.
Look, all governments have been able to do that. That is not a new phenomena.
Based in a 21st floor office in Wellington's CBD, the 67 staff of the Climate Change Commission get $14 million a year to set government targets for climate change policy, then monitor how well it's doing. At a select committee hearing this week, the Greens put a blunt proposition to the Commission boss, Jo Hendy.
That means that government policy is now such that we are allowing more global warming to occur than otherwise would have happened.
Yes. So we're absolutely making clear the consequences of different choices and the implications of that.
The Greens say by consistently ignoring the Climate Change Commission, the government's showing it's lying to the public.
We are facing a slow-moving car crash, and this government is so profoundly, deeply irresponsible by rejecting the evidence of what is necessary for a sustainable economy and the resilience of Aotearoa New Zealand.
Political scientist Bronwyn Hayward says the government is taking no action that is consistent with our climate change agreements.
There's now nothing that the government is doing, which is quite shocking when we think where we were with the John Key government, and when we think that only one party act actually objected to the climate zero carbon legislation. That party now seems to be dominating all policy, which is extraordinary for a minor party.
ACT's policy is to dump the Climate Change Commission and dump the Paris Accord agreements to meet climate change targets. But Simon Watts insists the tail isn't wagging the dog and that the coalition government's still committed.
We know that the targets, particularly in 2030, are very, very challenging, but we're doing everything we can in order to ensure that we can reduce emissions, and we are committed to the targets.
2030 is 5 years away. The Climate Change Commission knows it has its work cut out.